This is Gossip Farm, episode 21. EM abandoned her daughter for a son, then harassed and slandered the girl and her adoptive father for her bone marrow 16 years later. This is a true story in China. When EM had her second daughter, she decided that she didn't want her. You see, while the family was given special permission to have 2 children as opposed to the one-child policy, they wanted a son, and this extra girl was just an inconvenience taking up the precious spot for a boy. So they abandoned her without hesitation. The next year, EM got pregnant with a boy who was spoiled to death in the family. The girl ended up with a man more than 300 kilometers away from her original village. He and his wife had 3 pregnancies, but all ended up as miscarriages, so they adopted the girl, but divorced soon after because of the stress that came with the adoption. For 16 years, he had been raising his adopted daughter on his own. This man was just a crab farmer and was nowhere near rich, but he loved the girl as his own daughter. They were living a quiet and happy life together until one day EM turned up. Turns out the son got leukemia and needed bone marrow, and no one in the family was a match. So they turned to the daughter they abandoned 16 years ago, hoping that she would be a match. The father felt sorry for the 14-year-old boy. He agreed to take the girl to the hospital for the test, but he was afraid that the girl would know she was abandoned for her gender, so he made the EM promise to not tell her that she was adopted. The girl was a match and agreed to the procedure under the impression that she was donating for a stranger. The adoptive father then asked for a bond for the girl's health. In the beginning, he was misled into thinking that it would be as simple as donating blood. However, when the doctors told him that donating bone marrow was a risky procedure, he was worried that if there was any complication, he wouldn't have any means to save his daughter. The money would be returned to EM if the girl remained complication-free when she was married. EM refused. Then the father said not to worry about the money, but the surgery needed to be near where he was living, so he could take care of his daughter and work. EM refused again, saying that it would be more expensive for them. The father hesitated, and EM exploded. EM, her husband, and their eldest daughter marched to the girl's school right after class, stopped the car the girl was in, pulled open the door, grabbed the girl by her arm, and started yelling at her that she was adopted. They were her real family, and she needed to save her younger brother. The teachers had to physically intervene to stop them from taking her away. A bystander called the police, and even at the police station, EM kept pressuring the girl for her bone marrow. The girl was in shock after learning that she was adopted in such a violent way and cried for the whole night. This put her into a lot of psychological stress. The next day, EM printed out hundreds of open letters, calling both the girl and her father by name, saying that they were cold-blooded and that the girl, in particular, was ignorant and didn't understand morals. She even brought up the fact that the adoptive father experienced miscarriages to insult him. She emphasized that the boy was the girl's biological brother. She bolded that, just to put more pressure on the girl. She put this around the village the girl was living in, all around the girl's school, so both of them couldn't even go back to their home. When she was asked about this later, she said she didn't think about what that would do to the girl. She even went to the village council and said that the girl was rightfully hers, and she would take the girl back and make her donate her bone marrow. Of course, she was told that the girl was legally adopted, so she had no rights over her, and if she did anything like that, it would be kidnapping. She started interfering with the girl on her way to and from school. A teacher had to drive the girl to and from school for her safety, and they even got assaulted by EM's relative for their trouble. The EM later went on to a television program, probably wanting to bully the girl and her father into giving up her body rights. She got ripped apart on live TV. Later, they found another match on the donor database, so the boy is fine. The thing is, if she had been less entitled and cruel to the girl, she would have already donated her blood marrow. She could have doomed her son to death because of this. I don't know how someone can be this cruel. Thanks for sharing this story, OP. Now, please take a moment to like this video. And we move on to the next story. EM demands for her child to use my wheelchair. Some context. I have a disability that causes me to have severe balance issues, along with muscle weakness and falls, and while I can still walk, it's unsafe for me to do so, so I use a wheelchair. One day, I needed to go to the supermarket and decided to take my little sister, 8, along with me. I don't see her often as I live out of home, so we made a day out of it, going to the biggest shopping center on our side of town and had a great time. After having lunch in the food court, she wanted to have a play in the playground they have, so with her sitting on my lap, I pushed us over and she went in and had a blast. After about 15 minutes, she fell over, and since my chair can't fit into the playground, I removed my walking stick from its holder on the side and walked in to make sure she was all right. In enters the entitled parent. After getting my sister to stop crying by joking, I'd have to eat her leg now that she's landed on it. When I joke like that, she giggles like mad. I turned to wobble back to my chair, only to see it's been moved. It was around 3 meters away from where I left it, right by the entrance where parents had left trolleys, prams, etc. And a child was sitting in my seat while her mom spun the chair around. I made my way over and asked for my chair back when EM started on me. Me, hello, I need my wheelchair back and you shouldn't have taken it without asking. EM, but you can walk. I was so taken aback by that. Yes, I could walk, but I was obviously struggling to even stand. Me, excuse me. EM, you can walk, you don't need it. You just want it. I was shocked. As she was saying this, she was raising her voice, and people were starting to look. I was firm and told her that while yes, I can walk, I can't do so for very long and need my chair. EM, well, what's wrong with you then? Me, none of your business. EM, you say you need the chair, but you won't even tell me what's wrong with you. She said it as if I was the crazy one. She reluctantly got her kid off my chair, so I put my stick away and sat back down. My muscles in my legs were in agony from having to stand for so long, so I pushed myself back to where my sister and I were set up and tried to forget what just happened and rest. As I was going, she was loudly complaining about me to the people around her, claiming I'm lying about needing my chair because I can walk and that I'm just a dull bludger. I got my sister from the playground and left the food court as fast as I could. My sister was upset from the confrontation too, so we went and saw a movie to calm us down. I think it was The Secret Life of Pets we saw. She loved it. I've had people both confront me about walking and demand to know what's wrong with me before, but I've never had a complete stranger take my chair. Please treat people's wheelchairs, walking sticks, walkers as an extension of their body, and not something to touch without permission. Edit. I thought I'd add this here. A dull bludger is Australian slang for someone who claims welfare and social benefits when they're either undeserving or just plain refuse to work. Why do people keep making assumptions based on someone's appearance? And what's with the disrespect and complete disregard for one's property? Seriously, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.